What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for episode 36 of Stone Ocean. 2 episodes left. Finally, I am starting to reach the end of part 6. Finally, I am almost done with it. Not too many more episodes to record. Glad to see the finish line is already there because, I always get a little burnt out when I'm reviewing JoJo, having to review all these episodes at once just right after the other, man. But regardless of such, man, this episode was fucking fantastic, man. Interesting thing I thought, and I might as well just talk about this right now before we jump right in the episode. I thought something that was kind of interesting about this episode was when we finally see Father Pucci's new stand, I guess his final stand, Made in Heaven. First off, I do question, given the fact the name of the stand is Made in Heaven, I wouldn't be surprised if the original stand name was Made in Heaven, which, I don't know, I mentioned my reaction, but I assumed that was probably like a Led Zeppelin or David Bowie or Queen song or something, man. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was the original name. But the one thing I found the most interesting about Father Pucci's stand, or final stand, is the fact that Made in Heaven is on a horse, which I thought was interesting because, in case you guys know, Part 7, Steel Ball Run, deals with horses. That's a main focal point of Part 7. I think it deals with horse races, from the screenshots. See, I haven't read the part or know really anything about it. I've just seen a handful of panels from Steel Ball Run, and I'm pretty sure it revolves around, like, horse racing or something. I know horses play a huge part in Steel Ball Run. That's basically where all the fights take place, where everyone's on horseback. But so I do wonder, given the fact that Made in Heaven was on a horse, I wonder if that was maybe when the gears originally started turning for Rocky for Part 7 to have horses get introduced to him, or maybe by this point he already had Part 7 already planned down his head. He already had the basic beats or whatever, just had a basic outline of Part 7 by the time he got to this point, Part 6. Either way, man, I thought that was kind of interesting, the fact that Made in Heaven is on a horse, because this is like the first time we ever see a stand on a horse, which just sounds interesting because, of course, about Part 7. So, I thought it was interesting. I don't know if, like I said, this was when Aragami first had the gears start turning in his head for Part 7, or he already had an idea, a plan for Part 7 by this point in the manga. But, either way, I thought that was kind of cool and kind of interesting if that maybe played a part in Part 7's creation at all. But, either way, man, let's just jump right into the actual episode. So, we start the episode off right where we left the last week with Father Pucci evolving into his next form, evolving into his final form, and says, "Yes, the time for heaven is here!" And so, as he is going up, everyone else is shot. We then see that Anastasia somehow managed to get on the shuttle and is slowly approaching Father Pucci, ready to deal the killing blow on him. And I loved his line here where, as he uses diver drive and as he's about to go for the punch, he says, "Go to hell, you asshole. Heaven doesn't need you." I just like that line, man. But as he starts to go for punch, we see Made in Heaven slowly coming out of his arm, which I already mentioned at the top of the design, how I was kind of wondering if that was maybe had something to do with Part 7. But either way, we start to see Made in Heaven, which honestly, the stand itself, I thought looked pretty cool, just to get that out of the way, because I didn't talk much about the design, just mostly talk about Part 7. But I thought the design of the stand looked really cool as well. So we start to see him coming out of Anastasia's arm more and more as, Father Pucci keeps going off, the light gets brighter, brighter, brighter. Eventually it gets super bright, and then eventually, once we fade back from the white, we then see that everybody is now sitting down. They're just going away. Jolene's sitting in like one of the tables. She starts to get out. Everyone else is around that area. They're all wondering what happened to Father Pucci. Where did he go? And JoJo thinks they were moved about I think he's like 200 meters from where they last were. You have Irma still like, "I don't mean to be rude, JoJo, but I think I remember if I was flung over 200 meters. And as he's saying that, we also see a space shuttle like in the background behind JoJo. So I'm assuming that is the same space shuttle that Father Pucci was on earlier on in the episode, unless it was another one. But I would assume it's what JoJo thinks they were like moved from where their last location were, from when they last saw Father Pucci, because the space shuttle is like off in the distance in the background from there. Emporio also sends up another theory that he thinks that they maybe were moved by the gravity, and you have Anastasia like, "Good theory, but not quite. Because the gravity has already returned to this point." And speaking of Anastasia, when Jolene wakes up, she's like wondering where everyone is, and she's like, "Anastasia, where is he?" And then Anastasia in this episode, my God, bro, this man puts the simp in simp, like, bro, like. First off, when we get here, like, man, like, literally, the dude's like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the dude's like a total simp for Jolene. And this is such a one-way relationship. It's not even fucking funny. But you know, you have Anastasia, mentions like, oh, that he's glad that Jolene is worried about him. And then we have what happened to him later on in the episode, which is absurd that even happened. But I'll save that for when we get that part. Because that, my God, bro, was absolutely insane. But you guys will see some of my reaction, bro. I was laughing my ass off in that part of the episode. But he's obviously, though, he's great that his Jolene has acknowledged him and is worried about his well-being. Anyway, by this point, Irma's saying that what Father Pucci says is complete bullshit, and he's just trying to buy time for where so that he can wait for the new moon. She goes into a nearby building, and JoJo tells her that to not go there, and that by this point it starts to rain a little bit, and he says soon the rain will pass. And right as he says pass, bam, we see that Jolene or JoJo rather, and everyone else are now completely soaked. It started to rain a little bit, but now they are completely soaked. At this point, I'm questioning if this is to deal with Father Pucci's new stand made in heaven, and if it has the same powers as Emperor Crimson or King Crimson, which it seems like it might have it, given that they seem to work in very similar ways. Because you guys know they were both time stands, and Emperor Crimson could move forward in time, or he could fuck around with time and make time kind of make it go faster than it initially is, because that's how you guys remember Jordan would always use his blood as to know whether or not Emperor Crimson was used. So it seems like maybe a similar thing happens with Me in Heaven, given that it was only raining a little bit, but by the time after JoJo says raining, they're now completely soaked. As everyone is perplexed on why they're all now suddenly soaking, Irmis comes outside the door, but the automatic closing door ends up catching one of her feet like it's a fucking bear trap and locks her in. She's like, oh God, what's happening? And everyone's kind of surprised. She manages to open it up, but then it opens back up really quickly before it closes right back up also super quickly, as Irmis just barely manages to dodge it. And literally, if she didn't move her leg, she probably would have lost that thing. And she mentioned how it's going at the speed of a guillotine, which, yeah, that's about right. It looked like it was at the speed of a fucking guillotine. So then Irmis kind of backs away into something. And she's like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? And then we see this massive rock, this massive piece of gravel that looks like it might have been from the floor or something, is just chilling on top of it. And Anastasia's like, hey, Irmis, you might be careful. And right as he's going to probably pick it up or stop it from moving around, it hits Irmis directly in the head. And I'm gonna be real, I honestly thought Irmis died here for a hot second, bro. Because because with the way it must have just came right on her head, she then hit the hard concrete. There was blood everywhere. We know that there's an easy, that the brain is, if you want an easy way to kill someone, go for the brain, go for the head, blunt force trauma and all that shit. I honestly thought Irmis died here, man, with all the blood and everything. I honestly thought she died. I honestly thought Irmis died for a hot second moment, but she is alive and well. We then see the news reporter once again mentioning that it's like, all right, time for the evening. He's like, time for the evening news. Like, oh, excuse me, we're going to commercial. Wait, what do you mean? It's already done? So, and then by this point, the sun starts setting. I gotta say, that shot of when we get Jolene looking behind her, so you see the sun start setting, looked amazing, bro. Love that shot, man. And also, I might as well mention this here. I love the effect their production did where we see the time-lapse of the sky as the sun goes down more and more, and we see the clouds moving and everything. I love that effect. I thought that looked really cool the way Dairy Productions did that. I thought it looked really nice. So, as she notices the sun is setting, we then get to this little girl who is horrifically designed, bro. This woman I will see in my dreams. Like, seriously, what is with Araki? And whenever he does, what is with Araki? And always trying these characters that are not part of the main cast or the main villains or whatever. Why does he always just draw normal people so bizarrely, bro? He'll design his main cast, they all look great in their own ways, but then you'll see some random side characters that get shown up in the episode, and they're just like, why do you look like that? Where is the consistency here, bro? Seriously, why does Araki do this, man? It looks so creepy, bro. It just do not like your design. I don't know why Araki always does that, man. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe if there's any hardcore joke that can enlighten me on why Araki does this, man. Has everyone interviewed about this and asked him why he designs side characters like this and just doesn't draw everyone the same? Or at least similarly, but whatever the case may be, this little girl is asking for some ice cream. She asks for 6 flavors on one cone. Somehow they all fit. I don't know how. Is this even possible? Because usually when people ask for what the flavors, you know they usually stack each other on top. But this time, they were all wrapped around in a circle around the cone. And like I said, I do not know how they all just stick on there. Regardless of such, she gets about 2 licks in before it all melts away due to the increased time lapse because of Made in Heaven. We then head over to a baseball game as the dude managed to get a strike. But funny enough, I love the dude's hat says Joe on it. Just thought that was funny. I wonder if that meant to be like a reference to that baseball game in part 3 with the other Darby. I wonder if that's maybe to be like a little nod to that. But yeah, we then get to see another girl casually reading some Shonen Jump before bed. She ends up having some slight allergies. Her nose runs a little bit. She goes to blow her nose, and the tissue gets stuck to her nose, which, yeah, don't really, I guess from the snot, I guess from it hard and everything. And then we get this, then we see another poor bastard. This old guy tells one of his employees, hey bro, can you give me like half a pound of meat from the freezer? He's like, yeah bro, got you. The next time we see him, the dude's frozen solid inside the freezer. Bro, poor guy, man. Man just tried to get some meat out here, and he ended up getting frozen solid for his show. It's like fucking Saw 3 or some shit, bro. So we then head over to the baseball game. One of the batters managed to get a hit on the ball, and it seems like it's a standard pitch. Looks like they'll be scoring an out, and the pitcher goes to go grab the ball. But right as he's about to do it, the ball just rapidly drops. Like it just drops with that extremely rapidly, and basically completely fucks up the dude's jaw, dislocating completely. Blood is everywhere, man. Crazy. Look, bro. Look at the man's jaw, man, bro. Like, I don't know if you can put that back in there with how much his jaw is out like that, bro. And for today, when I was thinking, look at this shot, think the dude was holding his nuts. Because the way it looks like at it looks like the dude was holding his nuts, like maybe the ball also hit his nuts on the way down or something. I don't know, just the way he looks. It almost looks like his nuts got hit as well or something. I don't know. That's how it looks to me. And then we get to this old woman with her dog walking down the street. I cannot be the only one. The second they saw this, they started getting PTSD from parts 1 and 3. Worried sick that Rocky was gonna kill another dog, because we all know how Rocky loves killing dogs. Iggy in part 3. Fucking Jonathan's dog in part 1. There was probably some more that I'm forgetting about, but those were obviously the main 2 men. Thankfully, the dog does not die here. And in fact, it is her owner that gets, first off, her entire body just gets run over by a car, leaving only her arm before another car ends there, I guess hits that arm that was still hanging in the air, taking the dog with him. But the dog seems to be fine as there's a massive car crash that happens. But yeah, like I said, it seems like the dog is alive and well, which is all I care about, man. Fuck the human. Make sure that I just care about the dog still being alive. Anyway, we then see a helicopter from the Coast Guard try to land, but they also kind of have the same problem with the baseball, where they're just rapidly descending, even though their numbers look good, and they end up crash landing before we transition back over to Jolie and everyone. Which I thought the cut here they did from when the plane helicopter crashed to when they got back to Jolie, I thought looked really nice as well. Love that little cut they did. And then we see from both Hermes and Jolie that the blood that was on their faces, Hermes from when she got hit in the head with that piece of rubble, and Jolie from Early Fight, both their blood have also dried up, and they start to break away, obviously due to the time lapse. Then the sun starts to set completely, and then it starts to become nighttime. Everyone is shocked by this. Emporio questions whether or not this is the full extent of his stand. JoJo then starts to see some movement, some ruffling in the bushes, and thinks that they might see, might be Father Pucci. But then you starts to see some actual movement going around someplace, and then Jolene gets in there, she starts to see it too, and then he uses Stop, let them move, Sorry, I gotta do it, man. I gotta do it time. And that's when we finally start to get a first good look of Father Pucci's new stand, Made in Heaven. And this time his time is stopping time, to which we know he can do it for about 5 seconds. Gets gets greatly reduced. I think this thing only happened for 3 seconds, honestly, if that. Before then Father Pucci starts coming running right towards him. And by this point, he already told everyone to go get a move on. And right as Father Pucci's about to attack him, Anastasia manages to grab him and lift him on top of the roof along with everybody else. So once they get there, you got Anastasia, Jotaro on one side, and Emporio, Hermes, and Jolene on the other side, keeping watch on where he's heading. And then when they're on the hunt for Father Pucci, who can strike at any moment. By this time, they know that time acceleration is this man's new stand power. As the sun, as the sky is moving at an alarming rate like it's fucking moon night. This is when Anastasia, this motherfucker, decides that this is the right time to ask Jotaro for his blessing to marry Jolie. I'm like, bro, read the room, my dude. This is not the time. Did you really think this is the time? And of course, he goes off about that Jolene is right for him and begging Jotaro for her hand in marriage. Like, I've listened to this man's dialogue as he's trying to get Jotaro to give him his blessing, and then Jotaro looks at him like, wait, what did you say to me? And then he continues on about how that there are times where he doesn't feel that he is worthy of Jolene, and that he is aware he is a murderer, so Jolene will fall for me instantly. He even mentions and admits that this is a one-way street. And he's still asking Jotaro for his hand in marriage, and then before it all devolves to him begging him please, just say yes, sir. Please say yes, sir. Y'all see my reaction, but I'm just laughing my ass off. And the music isn't helping either, because as this man is giving his entire soliloquy about Jolene, about how great Jolene is and how much he loves her, then you have Jolene. First off, I love Jotaro after all this. Jotaro tells him he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. That was funny. But then Jolene starts to wrap her arm around Anastasia, and then the music starts to swell like it's a fucking romance movie, and they're about to love, and the two make another have their kiss or something. I'm like, what is this music, bro? Like, what is happening? This is the funniest thing ever. And then Jolene goes on that she's used her thread around the building and to try and see if it helps at all with Father Pucci. Now, granted, mind you, by this point, Jotaro has already basically denied this man's claim about Jolene. And then he asked, but even after all this, after Jolene tells her about how she used her thread and wrapped it around the building, he says, "Please say yes, sir." And then this actually I thought was kind of interesting. Jotaro actually grabs Jolene and brings her closer to him away from Anastasia. And then I honestly thought he was gonna just straight up tell him to fuck off or straight up tell him no at this point, but no, he doesn't. He just brings her in close and tells everyone to stay close, and that staying on the roof was the best outcome possible. He knows he checks his watch again and notices that going from how much it is before, how quickly the minute hand is on his watch is going fast enough that about 2 minutes is about an hour. Honestly, look at his clock. It just reminded me of those Phantom Cigar segments from Metal Gear Solid 5. You know, when you take a Phantom Cigar to change the time of day before you go on a stealth mission or something. Just seeing how it was go fast ago just reminded me of those scenes from Phantom Pain. So then they kind of go on how that if it's going at 10 miles per and 10 kilometers per hour, it's actually going I think it was 40 or maybe 82 kilometers. Either way, it's the same speed as a bullet train. And then something that was going 40 kilometers per hour, it's actually going 80 or 100. And then something going 100 is going at Mach 2.0 or whatever the hell Emporio says. So as they look around and try to figure out where Father Pucci is, he then notices a movement and uses once again Star Platinum. Trying to look for him, but once again he can't find him. And just when the time is about to resume, he then sees Father Pucci on one of the palm trees, about to use it as a slingshot to send him rushing towards Joey and the others. Time finally resumes, and Father Pucci comes towards him. By the way, I gotta say this right now, I love the effect that the productions used on Father Pucci as he was kind of phasing in and out to show him rushing through time and everything. I thought the effect they used looked really cool, but he manages to slice open Jotaro's neck. Blood starts coming out when Jolene is, of course, screaming "Oh man!" Before then, Jotaro once again uses Star Platinum. And we find out that actually Anastasia used Diver Drive to infuse it into Jotaro's body, so he took the brunt of the attack. So the wound wouldn't be fatal on Jotaro. So, like I said before, say what you will about Anastasia, but like I said a few episodes back, the man puts in the work. You know what I mean? Say what you will about the man, but he puts in the work, man. He puts in the work. So then Jotaro starts crawling towards Father Pucci, talking about how talking about how he needs that time is going to resume very soon, and that he needs to figure out a way that he's gonna need to catch his breath almost instantly so that he can use his time, so that he can stop time again so soon. He starts to get over there, but he can't quite make it before time resumes. Father Pucci sees Jotaro. He uses Star Platinum on him, but Father Pucci manages to dodge it. And we end the episode off with Jotaro now with Father Pucci announcing to the world, announcing to everyone the name of his new sand, his gift to humanity, made in heaven. Like I said, I'm assuming the original sand name was Made in Heaven rather than Made in Heaven. But honestly, I like the name. It sounds cool. And yeah, that is where the episode ends off, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, another phenomenal episode, man. Love Father Pucci's effect. Love the stuff with the time travel. I am curious to know how similar Father Made in Heaven is to King Crimson, because they seem to be very similar stands. They seem to have very similar power sets. We'll have to wait and see if maybe they end up expanding more on it and we see more of a differentiation between them. But they seem to have very similar abilities, I've noticed. Or I could be wrong. It's been like, what, 3 years since Part 5 aired, since I was reviewing it, so I could be misremembering some details as well. But yeah, man. Either way, this episode's fantastic, man. And overall, guys, I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my social media if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. She's